Hi friends, welcome back to my session, and in this session we are going to discuss about Docker. What is Docker and where we are going to use this Docker and everything we are going to discuss in this session. Okay, what is Docker tool? So Docker tool is a open tool, means open source tool, which provides to create a containers. What is the containers? Containers are lightweight virtual machines which are used to run the services. Generally, what we will do, we are going to run our services on the virtual machines. Instead of running our services on virtual machine, Docker provides us the compatibility of creating the containers. On top of the containers, we will be able to run our services which are required. So this is the purpose of Docker. So, and what is the major advantages of Docker? Why companies are showing interest towards using of Docker? Why it is far more advanced than the virtual machines? Everything we are going to discuss in this session. Okay. Before jumping into the Docker, first of all, we need to understand what is monolithic architecture and what is microservices. If you take any kind of web application, nowadays almost for any kind of services, what we are using web application, either PhonePe, that may be either Paytm, that may be either Swiggy, that may be either Zomato, whatever it may be, that is application. Suppose in this scenario, I am going to take the example of Paytm. If an application contains n number of services, means in this example, in this scenario, I am going to take the Paytm. The Paytm has n number of services, like I can be able to electricity bill, I can be able to recharge my mobile, I can be able to book my bus ticket, I can be able to book the train tickets, I can be able to book the movie. There are different types of services are running under one application. Okay, all these services in one. Okay, every monolithic architecture has only one single database. Is it a good thing or bad thing? The good thing is we can run all the services under one. It will reduce the hardware costs. Even though it reduces the hardware cost, but it is not recommended for some legacy applications or for some minimal application. It is okay, but if the application has the highest capacity, means highest user visits are there, then I need the performance application is well. So in that scenario, what will happen? It will fail because of like how it will fail. Suppose if one of the service went down because of some issue, will go to down, which are running under the same application. Because of one service went down, hamper all the services which are running under my application. So I need to separate that. Suppose if I have the issue with the electricity bill, then only but it will not suppose other services which are running under the same application. That is my core concept. That we're going to introduce the concept of microservices, where we are going to use the microservices. If an application consists of n number of services, individual server, and each server has their own database. In this scenario, suppose if means if how many service virtual machines I need to create. Here, the cost of the hardware has been increased. If I take the example of virtual machine, the hardware cost has been gradually increased because of the hardware. I need to create more virtual machines. If I need to create more virtual machines, what I need more hardware. The cost has been rapidly increased. So reduce the cost of the hardware, what I will do? I need to create technology that will be possible. How that will be possible? Okay. Suppose if I have the virtual, if I have the, I'm going to deploy any hardware, means any Windows or Linux operating system. On top of operating system, I'm going to install the Docker engine. On top of the Docker engine, I will be able to create the containers. Containers, what will be inside the containers? My application service is running. Containers are lightweight virtual machines, means it have the OS files, but it is very negligible. Okay. So in detail, we can discuss in the further slides. Okay. Fine. What is container? Just please have a look. Container, we can be able to use the virtual machine, can be able to deploy our application on the container as well. It doesn't have OS. Container doesn't have OS, means it totally didn't have the OS. It have the OS files, but which is very negligible in size. How without OS, how it will be run? It will be use the host OS on which operating system we had installed the Docker engine. The particular OS will be used for the containers by the containers. Okay. Virtualization. As we already discussed about the virtualization. Virtualization is nothing but effective utilization of hardware. By installing the virtualization software, how effectively we can be able to use the hardware. That is nothing but the virtualization. We have different kinds of virtualization are there. For Microsoft, we are using Hyper-V. For VMware, we are using the ESXi. For Citrix, we are using the Zen. There are different kinds of things are there. What is hypervisor? Hypervisor is used to make virtualization. With the help of virtualization, what we will do? We can be able to create the VM. What is containerization? Containerization is nothing but the process of packing application along with its dependencies. It is nothing which can be able to create the containers. It is more than the virtualization. Okay, fine. So I hope, as you all are aware, like earlier, I will show to you. So if we have the hardware, on top of the hardware, what I had done, I am going to install the Windows operating system. On top of the Windows operating system, what I will do? Hypervisor. Here in this scenario, what I will do? Instead of doing the hypervisor, I will install Docker engine. But suppose in this scenario, I am going to install the hypervisor. On top of the hypervisor, I will be able to create the VMs. On top of the VMs, which operating system I want, I can be able to install that particular operating system on that particular VM. And on top of the VM operating system, I can be able to run the services which are running under my application. Okay, this is a VMware. On top of the bare metal physical hardware, what we will do? ESX is the hypervisor which will be supported for VMware. On top of the hypervisor ESXi, I will be able to create the virtual machines. On top of the virtual machines, I need to deploy OS. On top of the OS, I will be able to run the services in AWS as well. Okay, and in coming to the Docker scenario, what I will do? We have the physical hardware. On top of the physical hardware, instead of installing the hypervisor, what I will do? I am going to install operating system. On top of the operating system, I will do the installation of Docker engine. So on top of the Docker engine, I will be able to create the containers. Based on the capacity of the physical hardware, I will be able to create the more number of containers. Okay, fine. Right. So just please have a quick look on this Docker. It is a open source tool which is designed to create, deploy and run applications. Docker is written in Google official language. Docker uses containers. Docker what uses? Docker uses containers on host OS to run applications. If I want to run any kind of application on Docker container, which OS it will be used? Whatever is host having the OS, that host OS will be used in order to run the applications. It allows applications to use the same Linux kernel as system on the host computer rather than creating the whole virtual OS. Means it is using the host OS in order to run the application, deploying the new OS. Okay, we can install Docker on any OS. Like means it can be deployed over any operating system, that may be Windows or that may be Linux. And Docker performs OS level virtualization. That is nothing but containerization. What is containerization? Packing of application along with its dependencies. Before Docker, many users face problems like the code is running in the developer system but not in the user system. So with the help of the Docker, everything will be possible. Okay, fine. We will go for the next slide. In Docker, mainly we have the four components are. In Docker, mainly we have four components are there. The first one is client, and the third one is Docker daemon, and the fourth one is Docker registry. We need to check what is Docker client. So Docker client is a thing where user can be able to interact with the Docker engine with the help of the Docker client. Whatever the commands which we had executed through client, it will be reached to the Docker daemon. Okay, Docker host is nothing but on which mission we are installed the Docker engine, that will be called as a Docker host. And Docker daemon, what is Docker daemon? Anybody have a knowledge? Docker daemon is nothing but it runs on the host operating system. It is responsible for running containers to manage Docker services. Docker daemon communicate with another daemons as well. Okay. Docker registry. Docker registry is nothing but it is a scalable open source storage and distribution system for Docker images. Service is running inside the container. Where the service is running? The service is running inside the container. Okay. This is all about the content. This is all about the Docker. It is the introduction about the Docker. Suppose if I want to use the Docker, how that will be done? Right now I have the Windows 10 operating system. If you want to check the same, just go here in search bar, type this PC, click on properties. So which operating system I'm using? I'm using Windows 10 Pro. This is the operating system which I'm using right now in my laptop. So if I want to install Docker engine on top of my OS, what I will do? Simply what you need to do, you need to open the Google Chrome. You need to open the browser. Here simply Docker download for Windows 10. Then you will be redirected. Just click on the first thing. Yes. Docker desktop for Windows 64-bit. You can download here. Once it has been downloaded, you need to run the file. Automatically the Docker desktop will be installed on your laptop. For this lab purpose, as I already installed Docker desktop on my laptop. So here this is the Docker desktop. You just need to double click on it. Then it will be opened. So just please have a look. If you look here, it will be showing here. Here Docker is running. Docker desktop starting. Here it is starting the Docker engine. So once the Docker engine has been started, I can be able to create the containers, everything. So everything I will show to you. How to create, to get the image. With the help of image, how we can be able to create the container. Everything I will show to you. So here, as I'm using the Windows 10, so that's why it is showing in the graphical user interface. Even though I can be able to create the containers in the command mode only. Most of the companies has been preferred to work on the command prompt only. Okay. Here, did I have any containers? Did I have any images? Did I have any volumes? No, nothing is there. It's simply empty. I need to done each and everything. Where I can be able to do that. I will show it. Just open the terminal. Here the terminal will be open. Fine. There are certain basic commands are there. I will show it to you. What are the basic commands are there? As I already we had already discussed about what is Docker client and what is Docker host and Docker daemon and Docker registry. Everything we had discussed. So and the points need to be done. So first of all, if I want to create the container, first of all I need to get the image. What is image? So image is nothing but the software together. It contains the things which are required to run the applications. Okay, that may be the image, may be Ubuntu image, the image, whatever the things are which are required in order to run the container. Those things will be added into the image. Image we will be able to create the containers. Means the image will be deployed on the containers. Okay. And you can't use Docker directly. You need to start or restart first. Observe the Docker version before and after restart. You need a base image for creating the container. Whatever it may, if I want to create a container, I need to create the image. And if any Docker container has been created, first of all, I need to start the container. Without starting of the container, I can't be able to the container. Okay, and these all the basic commands which are required in order to communicate with the Docker. With the help of the Docker client only, we will be able to communicate with the Docker. Na? So these are all the basic commands. Okay, I will show it to you. Here right now, the terminal has been opened. Suppose if I want to check whether I have any images or not, as I already checked through GUI, graphical user interface, but I didn't find any images. But if I want to check the same with the help of the command prompt, what the command I need to execute? Docker images. Just enter. Did I have any images? No. If I have any images right now here, it will be displayed here. No. If I have any containers, Docker ps-a. Is it showing anything? No. If I have any containers which are there, it will be listed here. So first of all, I don't have any containers running on my operating system or nothing but on my laptop. I want to create the container. If I want to, first of all, what I done? I need to get the base image. How that will be done? As my machine is already connected to the internet, so that's why I'm going to execute the command docker pull Ubuntu. It will pull the latest image. Docker pull Ubuntu. Yes, latest. It is pulling the Ubuntu latest image. Fine. Up to now, I didn't have any image in my laptop. I'm going to create image. How that will be done? I'm going to pull the latest Ubuntu image with the help of the it will take some time, it will get. So right now the latest Ubuntu image has been pulled. If I want to confirm the same, run the same command. Just press the up arrow, Docker images. Earlier it is nothing, this thing. But right now it is showing the Ubuntu repository, Ubuntu, the tag is latest, and this is the image ID, and this is the size 117 MB. Fine. If I right now I have the base image with me. If I want to create the container, how that will be done? And can you please, if I want to check whether any container has been created or not, sure, That will be done. Docker ps -a. Again you can run. Is that any container showing? No. How to create a container? Yeah, I will tell you. Docker run name. I'm going to place name as container one. Otherwise, container one. Docker run name container one. From which image? To Docker run container from the Ubuntu image. It needs to create the container. The name itself I am suggesting container one. Okay, this is the command. If you, it will automatically generated. Here you will be able to see na container one is done. Right now the status is exited, means it is not in the starting state. I need to start. Whether I can be able to start from here through GUI or from the command line interface as well, I will be able to run docker start container one. Yes, container one has been started. Okay, if I want to enter into the container one, how that will be done? Docker attach container one. You cannot attach a stopped container. Fine. The container hasn't started. So through, okay, as it is facing some kind of issue, I will do one thing. I am going to create one more container. Docker. You can delete. If you want to delete, you can delete. Otherwise, you can delete from the command line interface as well. I will let you know how to delete that. So I am going to create another container. Docker run -it. -it stands for interactive terminal. It will, with the help of this command, I will directly attach to the container. Docker run -it name container 2 from which image? Ubuntu. Right now, the container 2 has been created and I will be able to enter into the container. Okay, this is the Ubuntu image. For Ubuntu image, what I will do? apt update -y. I need to update the image. apt is for Red Hat Linux flavor. I am going to use yum. Yum stands for error update modifier. So here for Ubuntu, I am going to use apt update -5. It will update the things. Okay, it will take some time to get updated. And apt upgrade -y. Update will do the things which are ready to update. If I enter apt upgrade -y, it will update the things which are listed. Then finally my image is up to date. Okay, if I want to install the tree, apt tree -y. No, apt install tree -y. It will install the tree package. So what are the things which I want to install? I can be able to install. Okay, fine. If I want to exit from the container, either I can press Ctrl D or simply you can press exit. I can be exit from the container. If I want to check the container, right now it is in which state? Exited. Okay. If I want to list out Docker ps -a, it will list out all the containers which are running on my laptop, means on my mission. Right now I have one container, that is container 2, which is in excited state. If I want to make it run, docker, sorry, docker start container 2. Is it stated to running state? Yes. You can have a look on this. Fine. If I want to stop, docker stop container 2, it will be stopped. If I press stop, it will take some time. It will give the time to complete the process. Once the process, if any process running inside the container, it will give some time. Once the process has been successfully completed, then it will stop the container 2. Otherwise, if I want to close immediately, then I can use the command docker kill. Docker kill is the command where if I execute the command, immediately it will be stopped. Okay, fine. If I want to pass the container, I can be able to pass the container. How that will be done, I will be show you. Otherwise, I can be able to show docker start container 2. It will be start the container. If I want to pass the container, docker pass container 2, it will pass it. If I unpass, unpass, here you can check. Again it is running. Earlier it was passed and right now it again running state. If I want to stop, suppose if I want to kill immediately, if I want to stop immediately, then docker kill container 2. Immediately it will be exited. Whatever the process which are running inside the container, it will be terminated immediately and the container will be stopped without doing the further. If I want to delete the container, how that will be deleted? Docker. If we can't delete the running containers, so if I want to delete any container, I need to stop the container. Once the container has been stopped, then only I will be able to remove the container. Docker rm container 2. It has been deleted. There is no containers here. Okay. In this way, if I want to remove the image, how? Docker remove I remove image. Which image I have? Ubuntu. Image will be deleted. So in this way, these are the basic commands which I can be able to run while I am dealing with the Docker containers. Okay. Okay guys, hope you guys enjoyed this session. In this session, we had already learned how to install Docker Desktop on Windows Machine and what is the basics about the Docker containers and how to create the containers, how to get the basic image and what are the basic operations we can perform on containers. Everything we had seen. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. We can meet up in the next session with a new topic. Thank you for joining. Signing off. Thank you. Bye bye.